Hi, I'm Beth Cleveland from Fort Valley, Georgia. I always grew up hearing the saying, she's as country as a turnip green. But guess what? All turnip greens don't have to be country. And today, we're making an elegant turnip dish called turnip souffle. As you might know, turnips are high in calcium, they're high in folic acid, and they're low in calories. So girls, it's a great dish for everyone. I started this process a little bit earlier today, and I decided to cook my turnip greens and go ahead and get them started. So I put in about 3/4 of a quart of water, a tablespoon of red pepper flakes, a little salt, a little pepper, and a little sugar. And I've cooked them down, and some people like to use ham hock. I prefer just to use a pork chop because I usually have one of those in the refrigerator or in the freezer. So I cooked them down, as you can see, and I didn't use a lot of water, so there's not a lot of water left in them. But I'm going to go ahead and take out about a cup of the pot liquor, as we call it in the South. And then I'm going to put these in a colander and get the excess liquid out. And I'm going to take my pork chop out and set it aside. And now you can see I've got just big chunks of onions left, and the red pepper and the turnips. And next, I'm going to put them into the blender. Now, while that's good and hot, I'm going to add 8 ounces of cream cheese. I've let my cream cheese sit out for several hours, so it's already a little bit soft, but the heat from the turnips will help it melt on down. I'm just going to pop it in there. There you go. All right, let's just mix that up real good. Okay, we'll just let that sit for a minute, and I'll start with the rest of my recipe. We're going to make a roux. I've got 2 tablespoons. Let's get the right. I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter already measured out, and I want to melt that really well. And once that starts to melt, I've got about 1/2 cup of flour. Actually, that's a little bit less than 1/2. I think that's about 3 tablespoons. And I'll stir that up until it starts to incorporate really well. And it starts to get just a little bit thick. Now I'm going to add my heavy cream. I've got about 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I'm going to go ahead and throw in just a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. I'm going to let that cook for a minute. And it starts to thicken up. And as it starts to thicken, I'm going to gradually add my pot liquor. I've measured out my cheese. I have about 4 ounces of cheese. And I'm going to go ahead, as soon as that thickens just a tad more, and add my cheese so that'll be nice and melted. Good. It's nice and melted and a nice color, as you can see. Keep stirring it. Don't want it to burn. Now, I'm going to take this. I'm gonna give it one more whirl. And now, I'm gonna just pour this into here. Stir it up real good. Always make sure you wash your blender really good after this. It's kind of nasty when some of this shows up in the smoothie the next day. There, that should just about do it. There. Okay, let's stir that up really well. And now I have divided 3 eggs. To get that stirred in. Make sure you have the heat cut off. Now I'm going to mix these together for just a minute until they turn nice and lemony. This is my egg yellows. Get those nice and lemony looking, and then pour that in there. You want to make sure this isn't too hot. It's really cooled off some since it's been in the blender, but you don't want it to cook your eggs when you mix it in. And then you want to beat your whites so that they're nice and foamy. If you want to add a little cream of tartar, now's the time to add it, just right at the beginning. While I'm mixing that, I'm going to stir this up really good. It's nice if they form a soft peak. And they're getting close. It usually takes about 1.5 minutes. Alrighty. That should just about do it. Now let's just fold these in here. And now they're ready for the pan. Just pour it on in there. Make sure you get it all out. There you go. That's a really nice color. And the cheese will make it, you'll see yellow cheese in it, and then it just turns a really nice green. And it just so happens that I have one coming out of the oven right now. I think I just bumped it, so it might have fallen a little bit. But you notice it's a pretty green. It's a different looking dish. And it goes really well with sweet potatoes, macaroni and cheese, pork. I've used it for beef tenderloin. It's delicious. And it's fun to serve with company because they are not really sure what they're getting. And don't tell them it's turnips until they've had some. Today I've decided to serve turnip souffle with old-fashioned macaroni and cheese, pork tenderloin, and rolls. Don't forget to try to mix honey butter and Philadephia cream cheese together for the yummiest thing you ever had to put on a roll. That's good.